We have Lily Rogers here, our own student from Agnes Scott, and I would ask Lily to come and present in person. Her pronouns are she, her, and she is 19 years old and a first-year student at Agnes Scott College with an intended major in English. Please, Lily.
So these are two poems I wrote for my creative writing class. This first one is called Pulse. Wake up, eyes open baby blue. 1 second, sun, warmth, and wind. Next, withered vines crawl, wrap, squeeze, trap. My neck now purple and black. Sadness is a universe. I'm lost, waiting for a sign, telling me to stay even though the cold creeps in. I wonder, will the path come, find me doomed to this darkness? Only new color, red blooming across me. Its life drips down the drain. Now I can finally fall asleep. And my second poem, I want to give a bit of context. I wrote this in response to the politicization of Charlie Kirk's death earlier this month. A cup of coffee sits, leaving dew behind. Like a father's love stains the heart, becomes a shield as voices battle, try to catch me, but today one of them was caught, shot center stage, while eyes stare blinking across a blind chasm, torn after a tug of war gone bad. The players turned victims, new bodies fill the darkness between. Team colors fade to red blood and blue tears, unable to distinguish, but it doesn't matter now. For I taste bittersweetness and feel my father's love, but some taste salt and feel only pain. Today they look down the barrel, but bullets stop for nothing and no one, and the next round is on you. Thank you.
All right. And now we have young Hughley, who I'm going to invite to come and give a presentation of the poems he would want to read today. He's read here before, he's a very much appreciated and cherished friend. He's a native of Atlanta, Georgia. Social equity, inclusion, diversity, and affordable housing are very important to him. When not writing, he finds time to work with organizations supporting the same. He's a recipient of over 20 awards, recognitions, citations, and fellowships for his work in affordable housing, community development, and nonprofit management. Really, we are very honored to have you here, Young. Please.
Thank you. And it is a pleasure to be here. I decided not to read any of my poetry. I have this book. It's called The American Negro Poetry, and it was published in 1968. And I realized that I go back to this book every year. You can see the way it looks. It's taped together and everything, because it really has had an influence on my life. And the work was written between 1920 and 1960, when American Negroes were really going through a lot in this country. And today we're going through a lot. And so I thought I would share sort of the mindset in terms of people, what people were writing at that time, based on hope, what's going on in the world, the whole deal. This is Yvonne Gregory. Christmas Lullaby for a Newborn Child. Where did I come from, mother, and why? You slipped from the hand of morn. A child's clear eyes have wondered why since the very first day was born. What shall I do here, mother, and why? You'll dream in a waking sleep, then sow your dreams in the minds of men till the time shall come to reap. What do men long for, mother, and why? They long for a star's bright light, and when they have glimpsed a tiny light, they follow with songs of praise. Where does that star shine, mother, and when? It glows in the hearts of a few. So close your eyes while I pray, dear child, that that star may shine in you. The next one is Gwendolyn Bennett. It's a love poem. Some things are very dear to me, such things as flowers bathed by rain, or patterns traced upon the sea, or crocuses where snow has lain, the iridescence of a gem, the moon's cool opalescent light, azaleas and the scent of them, and honeysuckles in the night. And many sounds are also dear, like wind that sings among the trees, or crickets calling from the weir, or Negroes humming melodies. But dearer far than all surmise, a sudden tear drops in your eyes. And my absolute favorite is Langston Hughes always. I dream a world where men no other will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its path adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth and every man is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head and joy like a pearl attends the need of all mankind. Of such I dream my world. And the final one is Kid Stuff by Frank Horn. The wise guys tell me that the wise guys tell me that Christmas is kid stuff. Maybe they got something there, but 2,000 years ago, three wise guys chased a star across a continent to bring frankincense and myrrh to a kid born in a manger with an idea in his head. And as bombs crash all over the world today, the real wise guys know that we've all got to go chasing stars again in the hope that we can get back some of that kid stuff born 2,000 years ago. Thank you.
We move on to now Julia Carolyn Knowlton, professor at Agnes Scott College, professor of French and creative writing. And she has several books of poems to her credit. I will remind you at this point, there was a little message put up here as well. There's a link in on your Zoom chat feature to the bios and the poems, most of the poems that are read here. So you can access the poems that have been read. As I said, most of the poems that have been read here through that link, and the full biographies of the poets there as well. So I am going to ask Julia Carolyn Knowlton to please take the screen and share her poems with us.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and thank you to all of you who are making this event possible. I have become more and more interested in very short poems, sometimes called micro poems, and I'm very passionate about lyric poems. So I have 3 short poems for today, new work. The first one is called Love Struck, and it's about falling in love with life again after a period of health problems and challenges. So this is called Love Struck. Love Struck. All the arrows go through me, sharp and gold. Joy enters, blind, uninvited violation, as pure presence from an innate place within. The next poem is called Poems Without Metaphors. Poems without metaphors. Nests with no birds, tracks with no train, blood without red, blood without blue, cupboards with no food, mouth without a tongue, lovers scorned, empty envelopes, orphans. And the third poem is called Backyard Lyric. Backyard Lyric. Sunlit, I sit cradling my hardcover book with its scents of wood and ink. I doze and do not think. A breeze sends last year's dry yellow magnolia leaves eddying down the driveway. Gold flashes clatter and add more light to indigo sky. Nearby, a cardinal, unseen, weds its red purpose to deepening green. Thank you. And I just have one other thing I'd like to share, which is that I will be editing an anthology of very short poems called In a Nutshell. And if anyone's interested, stay tuned. I'll be the guest editor for this anthology published by One Art. Thank you for letting me be a part of the event.
This is Al Habib Luawi, a Moroccan poet. I've been informed that he's now joined us. There have been connectivity problems, but he's here now. A Moroccan Amazigh poet, translator, musician, and assistant professor of English in Ibn Zohar University in Agadir, Morocco. He's a contributing member of the European Beat Studies Network. He has been awarded the Amy Grunberger Scholarship by Naropa University to participate in the Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics Creative Writing Program, and a whole lot of publications and honors which you can find in his biography through the link in the chat. So I'm going to invite Al Habib to please come to the screen and present his poems. Habib, please.
I hope you can hear me. So these are some of my latest unpublished poems from my third collection. The first one is called Things I Jot Down in My Notepad. On the small of the back of things, my notepad rests. In it, I pour out with bitterness my heightened sensitiveness to the bone and blood mixed with salted insults. I jot down names of budding caps, parents, siblings, and wise elders who died in the latest of human wars. I scribble names of their towns, street addresses, favorite bakeries, cafes, parks, names of schools, and the type of cake soap to wash the corpses with. Would it be insensitive not to mention those who are busy with preparations for exile? Again, peace-making efforts failed. They are only meant to function as a tripwire. The politicians keep changing hats as ever. They confuse the wide-brimmed ones they wear outdoors with the rotten pork pie ones meant for their neighbors indoors. In between, they have their honeymoons with the press in hotel lounges, sipping cocktails and wearing smiles. It won't be long. Yes, it won't be long till they fall down through their own bones into the dark marrow. The night of the day of the great blackout is certainly coming as we flounder through the mire. The second poem, The Urban Glamour of Anonymity. This urban glamour of anonymity makes me suffer, whether I go to bed late or early. There are always lights burning deep into the night. Lights glow in yellow and white, endlessly filtered by heavy curtains. When I look out the window, someone else in the opposite building is also not sleeping. They are burning on the slow fire of inherited misgiving. Nights of insomnia in winter. Oh, nights of insomnia spent between the wash tabs and storage cupboards. Nights of insomnia torture the urban dwellers whose lives are shaped by the building structure. And in my mind's eye, I imagine the building a colossal machine emitting unheard moans, muffled cries of protest. Who are the people who live in the opposite apartments? Certainly some kind of neighbors, detached and unsentimental, with screaming children begotten by chance. Perhaps I do not really wish to know. Instead of hoping for better, further knowledge only complicates. The third poem, The Sounds of War. The anemic skin, the creamed skin, the anointed skin, the skinny skin, cannot shed itself of cuts and scars, scrape and scrape. Reality is better around puffy eyes, and truth is not simple, wiser words. You cannot wash the lies, and heart breaks away. Memory shall always remind you no victory in the business of death. My grandmother, Hajja Fatima, suffered from anemia but was not amnesiac. She was deaf in her left ear. She said it was worse than losing insight in times of blight. She never liked the sounds of war. Late in quiet evenings, she would say, the sounds of war always, always sound far away till you realize how many were killed. You think you'll never hear about them, but there is the antipathetic presenter on big plasma screens shove it in up your face. And with that, you'll pretend to forget the sorrows, the compunctions, the original guilt of man, the sound of doves at dawn, the sound of little lambs in the backyard, the sound of children tossing daisies at each other in muddy streets, the sound of harvesters' ballads in the cornfields, the memory of all that will not save you. Shed itself of cuts and scars, scrape and scrape. Reality is bitter around puffy eyes. Truth is not simple, wiser words. You cannot wash the lies, and heart breaks away. Memory shall always remind you no victory in the business of death. Thank you so much.
Lynn Farmer, who's been such a regular, such a supporter, such a friend, is here again and will be presenting in person. Her poetry has been featured at readings in Atlanta, Shreveport, Philadelphia, Teaneck, Huntersville, and elsewhere. Her work has appeared in Snake, Nation Review, Red Mountain Rendezvous, Lullwater Review, Poets, Artists, and Madmen, Chattahoochee Review, and more on the website or the Google Docs to which the link has been provided. in your chat feature on Zoom. Again, the reminder, the poems, most of the poems that are being read here are also available along with the bios. So I'm going to invite Lynn Farmer, please. Lynn, would you come and join us? Where? Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Marcus, and Agnes Scott and all the poets. It's always a pleasure to be here and join with the international community for this wonderful occasion. This poem is entitled Teddy's Purples. The slow light woos the purple leaves from under moss-wet earth, and yellow-dotted flowers soon appear between. Planted by much older hands and warmed and watered and fed for years, they've kept returning, stronger, fiercer, tougher strands of life and deeper purples. That wild green love that sought them, nurtured them, and claimed them for its own, supplied the strength for some small shoots to make the move and struggle for their tension, their color, and their life. And here, 2 years since, they've come back again. I brought them from her yard, that garden so resplendent with those purples and the rest, an unexplained compulsion to preserve some leaf, some corner of her heart that left them there untended. She didn't know the truth of gazing on her endless work for the last time. She would have wept for beauty. I guess I thought they couldn't live without her or me, but they would soon have thrived, survived without us both. The mist-hot garden would have crept together, back into its lushness, forth from being kept to being free, with purples peeking out from grasses overgrown. Her secret, silent beckoning would still have urged them from their hiding to close cross-mat the sandy floor beneath the cooling palms, to crawl across the rockway to the door in unimpeded search for gentle hands in nature's triumph over endless loss. And here, 2 years since, they have come back again, bursting from a dry death that would choke and hide the hues of scented struggle, and trailing tears in purple moonstreaks down my garden wall.
And now we have Sabah Naseer, actually Dr. Sabah Naseer, who's a full-time lecturer of English at UNG's Dahlonega campus. She has 15 years of teaching experience in Atlanta-based universities, including UNG, Georgia Tech, that is, and GSU, and a year-long experience in working full-time in generative artificial intelligence. She's here in person, not with artificial intelligence. Dr. Sabah Naseer, please.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Khaja, for inviting me here. I feel very diminutive amongst all these accomplished people that have been reading today. But I'm not reading any of my poetry. I am not a creative writer, sadly. But I am going to be sharing my father's poetry with you, who passed away in 2011. And I think a brief bio of his is very important before I begin his poetry. And it's a short poem, so I just want to spend a little bit, like 2 minutes, reading about who he was. He was born into a Sayyid family in Muzaffarnagar district of India in 1927, and his early life was marked by the upheaval of history, because in 1947, at the time of partition, his family left behind everything they knew and loved to migrate to Lahore, Pakistan. The loss of his hometown, the sudden rupture of his roots, and the experience of becoming a Pakistani almost overnight left an indelible mark on him. Though he spent over 5 decades in Lahore, the city never fully felt like home. He carried within him the quiet ache of a forever migrant. Although my father was not a poet by profession, he left with us, many of his handwritten poetry, and he kind of explored in multiple genres of Urdu poetry, including the ghazal, nazam, hamd, naat, mankabat, and marsiya, experimenting with language and emotion with quiet devotion. In the final 2 years of his life, he painstakingly compiled a handwritten manuscript of his poetic works, complete with a table of contents, leaving behind for his 4 children a legacy of words that spoke to both his inner world and the universal human experience. The poem that I'm going to be sharing with you is written in the ghazal genre, which was written in 1981, 44 years ago, in keeping with the theme of this conference, or should I say recital, of hope, of change. His ghazal speaks of, his love, of themes like love, longing, devotion, and renewal. In this poem, he uses images of gardens, dawn, flowers, and wine to reflect on patience, awakening, and the hope for fulfillment, creating a lyrical and deeply personal meditation. I'm going to read this ghazal in Urdu first, and then I'm going to give an improvised translation in English. So here it goes in Urdu. मुझे यकीन है शबे इंतज़ार आएगी, खिज़ां रसीदा चमन में बहार आएगी, सकूं पजीर जो हो जाए गुलिस्तान लोगों, गुलों को होश कली मुश्क बहार आएगी, रविश रविश पे लहू खाक चेहरा गुलगू, कभी तो दीद बाद इंतजार आएगी। ये और बात है लुटते रहे मैखाने, मिली जो हमको सुबह बार बार आएगी। जो बारगाह अकीदत को अस्तवार करें, नकीब सुबह की उनको पुकार आएगी। अभी तो होश में आने की देर है साकी, नवाए इश्क गुलों पर सवार आएगी। तुम्हारा जनून तर्ज रंग लाएगा यूसुफ, तुम्हारी खाक से बरके रुशदार आएगी. And the English translation goes, I am certain the night of waiting will arrive, and spring will come to the autumn-stricken garden. O people, when the garden finds its peace, the flowers shall awaken, and each bud will come breathing musk. On every path lies blood, and the dust-stained face tinged with a rosy hue. Yet someday, after all this waiting, the longed-for vision shall arrive. It's another matter that the wine houses lie in ruin. Yet when we arrived, the dawn returned over and over again. Those who build devotion's steadfast shrine, the herald of dawn shall call their name. O wine bearer, soon my senses shall awake, and love's soft song shall bloom upon the flowers. O Yusuf, your passionate way shall paint the world with hue, and from your dust shall shine a bolt of wisdom. Thank you so much.